Thank you very much for coming along. This is a show and tell about the reporting problem service. Reporting problem is all about fixing issues such as potholes and graffiti, delivering damage to things like traffic lights, fallen trees, all that kind of stuff in a way that those get reported by citizens into the council and fixed. We're going to be achieving that using a third-party product called Street, which I'll be talking all about. So first of all, I just wanted to acknowledge that I've basically stolen the entire Strider's format for this presentation. For manager is, it's really good. I just want to say thank you there as part of what I'm doing. So the overall vision for this service is basically twofold. First of all, to create a simple method by which citizens can report a variety of issues online and automatically receive updates when they are resolved. Now, a big problem we have with the way that we work at the moment is that citizens typically call into a call centre. People in the call centre normally send off an email to the appropriate part of the council, which then record it in their casework system. The issue then gets fixed, often quite quickly. But then, when the issues are resolved, we don't have the feedback loop in place to get back to the citizen to tell them that the issue is being fixed. And what that leads to is lots of phone calls saying, is it done yet, is it done yet, even though the issue will normally actually be resolved quite quickly. One of the main advantages of Fix My Street is the fact that you can leave an email address and you can get a notification to tell you of the issue from your friend. So that's the first part of the vision, and then the second part would be allowing happy staff, including those in the customer contact centre and related service areas, to incorporate this service into their ways of working with minimal effort. Now, at the moment, when issues are put into this either online by a resident or by someone who's working in the customer contact centre on behalf of somebody else, this system will still send an email off to somebody, often a team mailbox in a service area somewhere. That will then get put into their casework system and then actioned. And currently, apart from one system that I'll talk about later, when they come to close the ticket down, they'll need to close it in their own casework system, but also close it in Fix My Street. So that's an extra step they've got to do. It's good because it will notify the citizens and they'll get less hassle about when it's been sold yet. But in a lot of cases, we still need to close that loop to make sure they don't need to report fixing the problem in two different places. So we're still finalising the overall goals for the service. We've got a meeting on Friday, so with Matthew to talk about what measurements we want to do in terms of thinking about how we measure our success. But I think that conversation is probably going to involve at least these three kind of things to have a much better user experience. If you have a look at the web forms that we've got at the moment on the council website for reporting a bunch of this kind of stuff, they're not very good. They're obviously long with other fields. The user experience is really bad. Things like people teach better. To reduce the related number of calls to the contact centre, the reason I mentioned earlier, and enable new types of reporting, such as those related to noise and antisocial behaviour. So there's definitely a push for this in the council at the moment. We had a really good workshop run by My Society a couple of weeks ago, in which we had people from several service areas in the council, a lot of people from Hackett, but also people from Westminster, Maidstone and Small Greenwich councils who are also really interested in noise and ASB. So Fix My Street have taken the outputs from that workshop away, and the next thing they're going to do is actually create a prototype extension for Fix My Street in the next few weeks that they're going to bring back to us, and then we're going to be able to see how that works going forward. So we're definitely not just implementing what's there already, we're working closely with our society to extend the functionality. Done.
And I'm assuming you know that's a manifest link to the manifesto.
Yeah, so we can talk to the council itself. So, because this is the first show and tell for this service, just going to quickly run through what we're going to talk about. We're going to do a quick recap on how we got to where we are, a quick overview of Fix My Street, and I'll show the product off briefly. I'll talk about all the moving parts that are going on in the project, what's going well, what I think the main risks are at the moment, and then the main dates going forward. So, the reported problem project comes from a long desire to improve how we do reporting at council. It's doing for some time. This particular project was started in September last year to look to procure a third-party solution to come and solve this problem. That piece of work was originally led by Louise Bullock. that compared a lot of different options in the market, decided what the best one was, and then did the actual procurement for Victoria Street, and that happened in October, and then the project has been implementation and roll out in December. So that gets us to where we are today. And that'll be about Victoria Street itself. So it's a software as a service from an organisation called Society that coincidentally I used to work for some years ago, so it's been quite fun meeting with people that I used to work with many years ago and haven't seen for a long time. So it's used by a lot of local authorities in the UK as well as local authorities in lots of different countries around the world, so it's very popular, has a really large user base. It's got about 12,000 distributors a month coming into UK Victoria Street instances across the different local authorities, and they estimate from their own internal research that it saves about an average of 3 phone calls per issue rate. So we're looking forward to doing that kind of measurement going forward to what kind of handy. And in terms of big organisations that have started using Victoria Street recently, TfL is the main one that's had a lot of press. So for the areas, the geographic areas in London that they're responsible for, that's making a big difference. So there. Time for that. So, as I'll talk about in a little bit, we're thinking about how we're going to change the service design on the Hackney website itself. So when you Google you want to fix a particular issue, how you might come in via the website before you might necessarily land on Fix My Street. So we're still thinking about that at the moment. But if you were to go into Fix My Street like before, if you like, this is the product that you would arrive at. You type in postcode, street name, and it would say which one of those do you want, because there's often streets with the same name. That takes you to a page that shows all of the issues that are in your area. You can click on those and it will tell you about the particular issue. If you want to add more information into that issue, so someone else has raised it, but you've now noticed that it's got worse, for example, or the person who raised it is supplying photos, but you want to add photos to it, then you can do that. If you want to raise a new issue, go up here, we would drag this around to the point where the problem is. It's worth pointing out at this time that this is being specifically designed to work really well on mobile, because we know that well over 50% of people are going to be raising these kind of issues on mobile. So the whole drag and drop thing works really well on small platforms. Once you've indicated where the issue is, you pick the category of the problem. Now this is the initial cut of categories that we've come up with between ourselves and My Society. We're aware that this might not be perfect, so we're going to go through some rounds of iteration to improve this. We'll look later about how we might use some user research going forward. But then you pick a category, you put your summary in, you put the photos in. You can choose to either raise the issue anonymously, if you don't want to leave your details. In that case, of course, you don't get any notifications to say that the problem's been fixed. But we're hoping that the majority of people will leave an email address so they can get those kind of updates. One of the really interesting conversations from certainly with the Customer Contact Centre and one of the places as well, and we're going to dig into this with user research, is how people might prefer to get text messages rather than emails. That's not a service that Fix My Street does currently, but in the same way that we're having conversations about extending it for noise, there's certainly the ability that we might be able to work with My Society to plumb it into getting a notified to get text messages out of the way of doing this. So that's a thought going forward. But that's basically the...
We procured My Society on the basis of the revenue base with a capital surplus. With the potential to invest capital in any form of cash in further extent to put the product. So I can't remember the sums involved, but for the sake of Fix My Street Pro is 20,000 a year, but we procured just something like 20,000 a year, so we can run that additional for the next 2 years.
What's the length of contract?
2.
And David, you showed us landing
So if I go to just fixmystreet.com, I don't see that branding, but in essence, I will be reporting onto the same platform, so the stuff I'm not seeing is treated in the same way.
Yeah, so if you're in the Hackney geographic area and you report something in fixmystreet.com, it will still get routed through to us and then through all the right places.
So there are about 40 a week displays visible through Fix My Street currently, which we will also report weekly. In that case, that's where we go out email for.
And one might imagine that is the TFL. In essence, if I'm stood on the boundary of a TFL road and so therefore I'm not necessarily thinking because you aware there's a TFL road, but I happen to pick the Hackney road. It really does. So if I'm thinking Hackney, I see Hackney logo. Or if I'm not thinking Hackney, I don't see Hackney logo. But that's just how it looks to me. All the stuff around seems to be the same.
Most of the roads in Hackney are ours. The A10 is the obvious that isn't.
So this project has many moving parts. We talked about the branding, so that's something that we're deciding on at the moment. I talked a little about the service design piece. There's some good stuff, both on our existing website that we hopefully reuse, but also the way that the styling for the user journey that feeds into Fix My Street from some of the councils, notably Westminster, we're probably going to steal some of their design. So that's things ongoing at the moment. I'm working with the customer contact centre in terms of how they're going to update what they're doing, because a lot of these issues aren't as granular the way they report them at the moment. So somebody just phones up and they go, oh, that sounds like it's something for highways, and then they just type a block of text and send it off. So we're working with them around that. We need to talk to the impacted council service areas about this need to double post things until we finish the integration with the other services, internal services. And there's some just little bits. We need to get the agreement on the privacy statement between us and the society, so Nick's working on it now. Keith's working on setting up some security scanning for them. It's actually worked out really nicely because they've said that this is a thing that we wanted to do for years and never had a ton of money to do it. He's like, well, I can just turn it on for you. So that actually might do them a real favour. It might be good for us now on. We're doing a technical integration right now with a system called Alloy. Alloy is the case management system for highways, which is going to be made live for them in the next couple of weeks. That direct technical integration means if you are a resident and you raise something in Fix My Street, it'll get raised directly into Alloy's casework, so they don't need to go up here. And then when they fix it in Alloy, it gets fixed in Fix My Street, everyone gets notified who's been on that ticket, and they don't need to manually close that. We're hoping to do that for a lot more systems going forward. One of the interesting things about the Alloy integration that we want to test is that it should be possible for the operative out of highways to take a photo of the thing showing that it's been fixed, and then put it into Alloy and then feed that photo all the way back through the system to Fix My Street. So when you get the email back, you can say, here's a picture demonstrating that we fixed your problem. So that's something we're going to test out. At some point, I'm keen to talk about how we're going to do comms to people about this, because we're going to put this really nice system in place. But are there ways that we are already communicating to citizens about other services they use in the council, and can we sneak an advert for Fix My Street into town? That's one of what we're doing. There's also an ongoing conversation about how Fix My Street moves into support. So this is a project that probably lasts another 2 or 3 months. But after that, it's going to be picked up by the app support team, having that conversation already. The interesting question for that is not so much how we keep the lights on, but how we do continual improvement based on the analytics and reporting and other feedback that happens from that, and where the responsibility for that kind of thing lies. So having that conversation at the moment. I mentioned the piece of research mostly about the categories to make sure they make sense. And again, I talked to them earlier about noise nuisance and essential behaviour. We're waiting for the first iteration of the extension of Fix My Street to cover that kind of area. So, what's going well at the moment? The integration with Alloy is going well. The tech folks from My Society and the tech folks from App Support that are introducing Alloy to Hackney, they're having a back forward all the time, and they're still on target to get that working in the next couple of weeks. Having regular chats with William and Annie from Customer Contact Centre. The training for those folks is on the 18th of March. They're going to nominate some what they call champions. They'll be the first people in the customer contact centre to use it. Those probably 5 or 6 people will use the service for a little while, and when they completely use it, they'll do like a trainer. We'll spread that through most of the customer contact centre. Yeah, I'll talk to the folks about next steps for that. And again, we've got initial feedback from the workshop with a bunch of user journeys, user stories, away from their prototypes. No risks, no major blockers at this time. I had a conversation every Monday morning with Louise Howells, who's the delivery manager at My Society. And her highest risk at the moment is that if we stop the current plan, because they're working with lots of other councils and they have their developers in their plan to do other stuff, if we slip, we start to collide with commitments that they've made to other organisations, and that makes moving things around more difficult. So, not a problem today. But if anything does go wrong, it might mean we can't stay a little bit, we might just need to jump because we want to jump over what they committed to for somebody else. We haven't locked out the redesign for the website yet. I'm working on it.
There's only people just right now.
And we need to have a conversation with the service areas about this whole double closing issue at the moment. So that's the thing that we need to get into. Main dates at the moment, so the 16th of March is the go live date currently. Spoke to Highways to be using Alloy, spoke to Brazil Monday about that, and that's still in place. 18th is the training for the customer contact centre, and also for probably Wayne, I'm not sure yet, somebody from Pete's team in support to take us on after the project ends. Current go live date for the initial run, what problem is
I was thinking about, so if I report in the tool, it will show up on the site, right? But how will it work if someone calls in? Does that remote also on the site?
Yeah. So there's a whole section within the tool called On Behalf of Another. And so if you're in the customer contact centre, you come in the morning, you're logging into the tool, and then there's a whole workflow which is I might have a headset and someone calls me, or I raise it on behalf of somebody and forward it. So that's all included in the training we're going to go through on the 18th. There's an interesting question. We have a certain number of free integrations that we get for the contract that we've got at the moment. My Society have a capability to connect Fix My Street into Google Authenticator. So because we're using G Suite, staff will just be able to log straight in just by clicking on where we are happening. I think that it would be a waste, frankly, to use one of our free integrations to turn that on, because it's probably a 10-minute job at their end, really. So what I've asked their head of product is, if we did want to use one of our free integrations for it, how much is it going to cost us? To get back to us about that. But hopefully we can switch that on so that customer contact centre staff come in the morning, they just hit the button and then off they go.
In terms of the feedback to residents, obviously, like I guess when they first put the issue in, they get an automated response, and then when it's fixed, is there capacity to give them stuff in between times?
Absolutely.
They get up? And is that easy for the Highways or whoever people to?
So if they update the status in Alloy that it's not closed, then that will route onto the system with a notification. If people in the other teams that don't have an actual system integration want to go to Fix My Street and do an update but not close it, they're very welcome to doing that and notify the people that have a ticket. The question is whether or not we can get them into a mindset of wanting to do that, because it's an extra piece of work on top of what they've been doing already. So
and that's important because the majority of things that people will report that they're doing with. So finding the right code. So the codes in the asset management database won't be intelligible to non-highways professionals. So we need to map those to a language that people will understand, which is we aren't going to do anything about this, despite the fact that to be important.
Would that be something we consider to be sufficiently minor that we would take over the next time?
That kind of thing.
The future plan is.
So there's two things in relation to that. One of which is that My Society is particularly keen for us to look at the content of the automated emails that go out. That's one of the things that's on their list for a couple of weeks from now, I think. The other thing is that Christmas Street got brought into Herts Council basically by Richard Smith, and so we are looking more of their user research, which he has sent to me the other day, which I've not had time to look at yet, but it has a bunch of stuff in it specifically about language using it, so we might just pop that.
My experience of doing endless research with residents and stuff on this over the time is that like the challenge mostly is that things that they can use in like a crack in the pavement or whatever just isn't a priority enough for councils. Like the IRL version of this that people started doing was like drawing white lines around potholes to show residents that they'd seen it, and that like winds people up 100 times more, so like they can't actually put it in. And so sometimes I wonder how that would translate into this, like having been really easy to report it and having had messages back that said yes we know about this, and then that gap widening between it not being fixed.
I mean, it's particularly interesting
how
whether
fixes that, or what their experience of that is.
Yeah, it's particularly interesting to think about the workflow in that as to whether when you acknowledge that it's a problem that you're not going to fix it, do you then leave it to get moved forever, and then when someone goes back to that area you end up with a box of unclosed tickets for you, or do you close that ticket, in which case you're saying to the resident it's done as far as I'm concerned, and then they're just going to call the cops tomorrow and say it's still a problem.
Because people report incredibly minor. I've heard complaints about this, like people reporting chewing gum drops on the pavements and stuff. And sometimes even more facility makes it harder.
There's a design challenge. It's one that has been solved. Domestic can be solved in local terms by how many Christmas Street code histories are there? It's more than 20. So yeah, we'll do what they recommend because it's a shortcut. It's going to be fairly short. If it works in Buckinghamshire, for example, which is far less money to fix potholes than we do, then it's going to work.
I mean, the main thing is, I mean, the main thing is that this is part of the conversation about what happens when I roll off the project and this moves into support, because we'll look at how many tickets are open for how long and under what categories and all this kind of thing. So that's a conversation between myself and Matthew and Peter as to what kind of time the people in support can dedicate to being involved in looking at this level of analytics and making decisions about going forward once it's all a project.
Two questions. One incredibly did you get PO raised?
Yes. Took a while, yes.
Second question. So this is an example where we're buying an off-the-shelf piece of software to do a thing rather than making a thing and buying an ERP back-end service. I imagine too early to tell that it would be useful to reflect on what we learned through that experience. So some things on my mind are, one, we wouldn't be doing our own user research to design the product, taking it off the shelf. The implementation of a thing which is specific to a service rather than a whole area of what has to go is also different. So I think it would be interesting. It's a different way of doing a thing from the fire big housing system. Think about what might that tell us about that way of working when we're making decisions in the future. How would we know, how we left to know that a product which is selling G-Cloud as an off-the-shelf app for us would be tiny. What questions might we ask in the future that you may know about?
I'd certainly be very happy to discuss that. I mean, there's also, to be honest, a situation where, I don't know if this is specific to this project, I've added a point where the product choice has already been made, so they've effectively gone through the equivalent of a discovery group, did the analysis piece and decided what's going on, and then it has all turned to like as a project that in it. So I don't know whether there's often conversations with the responsibility team as to whether off-the-shelf projects that come like this should have a delivery manager attached to them at the point where they're doing the analysis piece and have that all the way through as part of the continuous part of the service. So I'll talk about that.
I think it's that kind of thing. So I'm not sure exactly what question you're answering coming up with this one, but it's a different outcome to what we've done previously. It sounds like it's possible. To be interested to use that to help inform future decisions.
I was thinking about when you use different noise and the noise research, you don't users don't necessarily want to put their own personal information. But the other side is that officers, most officers need the information to actually go and possibly investigate how the law system.
So
And the other tension is that there's a user need to not provide personal information as a system information we provide because of a number of vexatious data complaints, whereas through the noisily pretend way of trying to get the data out of their attention. So yeah, that's much more important instituting the approach which is also that's
what was really interesting in the noise workshop and how the different councils work is that some of them will take a collective set of statements from enough neighbours and use that as a way to be able to go to court and get anything happen. Whereas other boards will only use testimony from noise officers that work for the council, just in case you've got contentious reporting that. So we're looking for. We've got a user journey which I showed at that's been proposed by My Society, and we'll see what their process looks like and feed that back to the people in the service areas that actually do see what they say.
It'd be really interesting if you could upload an audio file, for example, of noise meetings, because having in the past you basically have to book the person to be noisy at a time that is convenient for council officers to know this.
So what the council's doing at the moment, there's a thing called the Court Noise App, which they recommend to people, and one of the things that you can do on that is do recording. And one of the notes that I've got in regarding the Noise and ASB update to My Society is must do at least what the noise count does, because otherwise we make the thing go away and replace it with something that's less good.
Because people's devices at London Watch will do decibels.
GPS is like
Yeah.
pointing.
Which is good, nuts in the past.
All right. Thanks for watching, buddy.
Thank you.